All right. Oh, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce this one. I don't want to butcher it. Okay.
Don't worry, just
Dan Gingiss?
Dan Gingiss.
Oh, no.
You want to try again? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I'm stumped on this one. You're going to just... Okay, the way it's pronounced, it sounds ging.
Gingiss.
That's what I said.
Well, you said Gingiss.
No,
like Jenga.
I said...
like a
I
GIF.
said Gingiss.
Like we're going to turn this into a GIF, not a GIF. We're talking about Dan Gingiss, not Dan Gingiss.
I think I said that a little.
Dan might be my, again, I use superlatives a lot. Dan's got to be my best friend in the industry. I've flown out to see Dan in Chicago. We went to a Cubs game last year. Dan and I have spoke together at several different events. Dan and I, our books came out around the same time. So Dan is the author of Winning at Social Customer Care, which I usually carry with me, but this backpack's getting heavy and I had the Schaefer book in there. Sorry, Dan. I saw Dan speak last year because I was lucky enough to trade volunteer shifts, if you will, which is something that's kind of cool to be able to like move from one room to the other. And I've seen Dan speak in Atlanta and several different places. Worth seeing over and over again. So Dan's focus is customer care and the customer experience, right? He has a podcast about it. He's worked with McDonald's. He got me my job at Humana, which was amazing. So like, again, we talk about people opening doors for one another and connecting with the right people, right? I met Dan at the very first social media conference that I went to in Atlanta in 2014. We connected via Twitter. And this is a story that I'm sure will come up at my session, right? That when you're paying attention to the people that are out there having conversations, again, not just globally, right? But in the same room as you, right? Like there might be someone sitting across the room from you that shares that passion, that when you come here, you're going to be able to make that connection. That's what happened with me and Dan, right? We didn't know who each other were at the Social Shakeup Show 2014 in Atlanta. 2014, right? But we were both tweeting with the same hashtag about the same topic. We were talking about a millennial panel, right? And then the conversation continued, just replying to each other, blah, 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 blah. And now Dan and I are like best friends. We had a chance to work together at Humana. We're both big Cubs fans. I'm trying to talk him into doing like a Cubs podcast and stuff with me this year. Which, Dan, if you're listening, we should do that. But this is how friendships happen, And some people are going to look at Dan's profile and be like, oh, well, he's such a big shot, right? He speaks around the world and blah, blah, blah. He's just Dan, right? He's got his kids. He's got cats, too. You got to look up hashtag Gingiss cat on Twitter. I've tweeted to him a couple times. Big cats, right? He likes pinball. That you learn, and he's a big bourbon guy, too. I'm sure we'll sip some bourbon again like we did at the karaoke party last year.
Do your whiskey pour?
We'll do a little whiskey pour. Dan also has jokes about Snapchat, so I'm sure he'll have jokes as well. But Dan is just one of those genuinely good people in the industry, who, and that's all four of these guys, right? That are doing things the right way by growing one step at a time and really building relationships on the ground and putting in the work to be able to achieve the levels of success that they're looking for.
All right.